because it's really my vision, my map vision is is my drop defense right now, and these pylons are in places that are pretty common for drops to go over. Now, I have a huge economical lead at this point, but I am managing to keep my money low, which is pretty good. Now, okay, so I see the drop's just barely going range of the tower. That's a mistake of his, but really it doesn't matter because I also have this pylon that he flies right over, and that he couldn't have known, you know? And here comes some stalkers, and they're getting ready to kind of just thwart this drop, and plenty of time. Now, he could have been unloading at this point. He shouldn't lose both of these, but I guess he does. So that's pretty bad for him, but it really just goes back to that map vision and being aware of it. So my fourth base is getting situated. Let's take a look at the income. I have 72 harvesters, and I really shouldn't be going over that. I don't think I'm building any more probes. Yeah, that's plenty of probes. If you can note right here, I have perfect saturation for the 8 mineral patches, 2 per patch here. Just about 2 per patch here. A little less than 2 per patch here, and I'm also starting to transfer some over here. And 66 or something is the amount that you need for 3 bases, but if you want more gas geysers, you're going to want a couple more probes. So 72, 75. You don't really want to go over 75 as Protoss. Other races might want to do that sort of thing because they tend to remax more so. You really want to have a big army as Protoss. It's definitely very important. So at this point, I'm just macroing up. I have a very clear advantage. I'm quite aware, even though I haven't done a lot of scouting, I'm quite aware that his third was considerably later than mine. And I believe, okay, alright, this is great, because I remember doing this specifically. If we look at what I'm clicking on here, or, hold on, let's back up a little bit, because I just want to point something out. We're going to follow my vision. Note that I have the observer selected here, and now I'm just doing some macro, blah, blah, blah. My observer is scouting around, and I'm like, alright, I remember specifically saying this, and we just missed it again there, because it's very subtle and very, very quick. And this game is also almost over, but I just want to show this one last little point, and we'll slow it down for a second. And basically it's the idea of, one, I had a pretty good sense that he hadn't expanded yet, or that if he had expanded, it should have been just about now, because I've been keeping him under pressure based off his timings of all the things that he's created. Like he's gone for ghosts, he's gone for drops, he's done this, that, or the other thing, and he happens to be taking a quick fourth, which is something that I didn't expect, and it's kind of the thing that he's trying to make up for what has happened, because it's been shut down so much. It's more or less a desperation move. But I have the game won at this point. But just to confirm my suspicions of his third base timing, to really show me that, okay, I can actually just go kill him now, I take this observer, and I want you to look at this bottom portion of the screen, what I have selected. Because here's the observer, it's going into his base, and I see the expansion, and then I click on a mineral patch, and it says 1480, and you only see that for a split second there, even on slow speed. But basically that says to me, okay, he really hasn't had that for very long at all. He basically just got that situated, and I've had 3 bases and now 4 for quite a while, so I'm quite confident in my ability to just kind of kill him, and so I just go for it. And there we go. Some half-decent force fields. Could have cut off a little bit more of the army. Okay, and now I go for more of it. I should be focusing the Vikings with my stalkers, but I'm just kind of A-moving at this point. And now I start to focus the Vikings way too late, but he just gives me the GG well played, because pretty much it was in my favor the whole time. It's fairly one-sided, but as far as educational games go, that's not a bad way to look at a game, because you can just see how everything went my way and how I planned for it to, and it actually worked out. So that's it for our little short replay cast here. Just going to do one replay today. We're going to try and do this fairly often and save the VODs, but I do want to do a little bit of question and answer sort of thing here. So let's head over to our little splash screen here and take a look at the chat. If you have some questions about the game or the build or anything more that you would want to know about that, just post it in the chat and we'll answer questions. How many minerals are in a full patch? 1,500. My keyboard. What kind of switches? They are blue switches, in fact. They're kind of like an aqua blue color. Lamp, I am not going to answer your questions. How often do you get sentries late game versus Terran? Basically, you want to keep a certain number of sentries, like something like 8 or 9, and if you go under that, then you want to remake them. And sometimes I have a bad habit of not remembering to remake them, but it's something that you really have to be conscious of, like keeping your sentry count up. It's not a matter of, when I'm warping in, going for my maxed army, I'm just going to keep constantly building sentries. No, you want a certain number, and then you just kind of want to stick with it. What do you think about Immortals instead of Colossi versus Terran going Heavy Marine Marauder with a mix more charge lots than Stalkers? I mean, Immortal charge lot is effective for sure. It's not. It just doesn't have the splash damage. You would eventually want to have Templar in there, because once the Terran gets his kind of ball going, meaning he should have Ghosts with EMP, he should have Medivacs, and it allows him to not even make any Vikings. And so, I mean, if he makes Vikings on top of that, expecting Colossus, it can be good for you, but you can't bank on that. If he doesn't make any Vikings and he has mass Medivacs, his army is just going to be so strong. So, Phoenix production, I used to transition into Phoenix a lot with Terran. Recently, I'm starting to favor, when I go this mass gateway style, though, if you open with Colossus like fairly quickly, I think it's good to transition into Phoenix and do harass with them. And you need to get the Phoenix going before his Vikings really get going, or before at least 2 port Vikings go. Otherwise, you're going to have issues. I get the Twilight Council before the Robo in this kind of style. There's other styles that you can use that aren't this gateway centric, and in those cases you would get the Robo first. But for this is a very specific style that focuses on mass expanding and really getting a lot of gateway units first and putting pressure on with them, taking map control, and then transitioning into Colossus. And in those cases, you kind of don't have room for the Phoenix. The best thing to do there, since you have so many gateways, is to later transition into a combination of DTs and High Templar, which I was starting to do in this game, and I didn't really get to mention it, but I did build the buildings. Focusing down Medivacs, it depends on the army size. Like, if there's one Medivac and a small group of units, then it's probably good to focus down the Medivacs. But if there's like a large army, I don't think focusing down the Medivacs is useful at all. I think you want to just engage the army, and hopefully you have enough splash damage. And that's the whole point of Colossus, is that gateway units can handle, can go like toe-to-toe with force fields and good placement and good engagements and upgrades and stuff with Marine Marauder, but once Medivacs get heavily involved in there, you really need splash damage to make up for it. What do you need to make your own stream? Basically, download XSplit and check the Team Liquid forums and get a Justin TV account, and you should be pretty good. It's fairly simple. XSplit does almost everything for you. Yeah, pretty much most Grandmasters players would get a lot of viewers. So more questions. We have a little bit more time for questions. Let's try and gear it towards questions specific about that game, perhaps. Somebody have a question about a specific transition, or what I was thinking, or what my general idea was, or anything like that. I don't keep my Colossus separate on key bindings. I often will split up my Zealots, Sentries, and Stalkers, but my Colossus usually end up with my Stalkers, or the rest of, not with my Stalkers, with my Zealots and Sentries, and then I'll micro them individually during the battle. calling me orange. Do not refer to me as orange. I am a person. If you were watching Sheth's stream or Kelly's stream or any of the people that were streaming last